Hey, welcome to Man Kitchen Recipes. I am Kevin, and today I'm making, this is like the final brisket meal on Man Kitchen Recipes from the my brisket meal experiment where I took a 15-pound brisket and cut it into 5 pieces, and we did 5 different meals. This is the 5th one right here. It looks like a bunch of potatoes. This is a brisket shepherd's pie. Let me show you how I made this and everything else that I did while making this. I did a lot. I took the trimmings from the brisket. I didn't make tallow out of it until now. I got me a nice jar of liquid gold right there. I'll show you how to do this. And this is not just liquid gold. This liquid gold is smoked. And then I had some jalapeños, cream cheese, and bacon, so I went ahead and threw on some poppers while I was at it. So anyway, I've been busy. Let me show you how I did this, and we'll come back and do a taste test. All right, I can't believe this is the last chunk of brisket that I have out of that 15-pound. This is a 2 1/4 pound part of the point. All right, let me get this out of this vacuum sealer bag. All right, that's a nice chunk of meat right there. This is going to make an amazing shepherd's pie. All right, for today's seasoning, I'm going to go with Killer Hog's Texas brisket rub. Okay, I'm gonna smoke this on the Z-Grill's pellet grill today. I'm gonna do it at 225 until it's ready. All right, got the Z-Grills up to temp. Just gonna set that right in here. Right there works. We'll see you most likely when it stalls. Usually between 150, 160, somewhere in there. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so with this brisket, I did trim all the fat. I did keep it. It's been in the freezer. And I'm going to show you what I like to do. I could just throw this in this pan, throw it in the smoker, get some tallow. But to me, this is the best way to do it. And if you've got a meat grinder, grind it up. And one of the reasons I like doing this is because there is meat on here. All right, I should have had this fat ready. There it is. That's going to be my tallow. I think I'll move this over a little bit. This is going to be the tallow. If you're not using the fat from your brisket to make tallow or to do this, what you'll see later how it ends up, you know, you're wasting a lot of money because you paid for that fat. Might as well use it. AKA liquid gold by the time that's done. All right, it's been about a little over 4 hours, and it looks like it's stalling at about 158 brisket right there. So I am going to put it in a pan of onions just for a second. I'm going to clean this off real quick. Okay, and I'm going to pour some just some beef broth in there. Not measuring it, just putting some along the bottom here. So when it braises, it doesn't dry out. Take my meat stick out. Get it covered. Meat stick back in. Okay, and we're going to let this go until it's nice and tender, shreddable. And then now we're going to deal with this tallow, this brisket fat. Let's see. Stir that up. I'm going to go get a strainer. I put a jar in here because I don't want to put the hot tallow in a cold jar. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so over here I've got a piece of foil. I've bent up the edges just in case I make a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the jar right there. I'm going to set my jarring funnel, and then I'm going to use, I guess you can't really see it. Okay, so I've got my jar, my jarring funnel, and I'm going to use a wire mesh and see if I can't pour this in there. And I'm using the mesh just in case some of that ground up tallow or fat gets in there just like that. So I'm going to drain it right now, and I'm going to let it keep going. Okay. All right. So that's how much, get that back in there. So this is how much tallow I've got so far out of that. Okay. And I've got this back in here. I'm going to leave this in here because it's going to keep sweating out. It's going to give us some more tallow. So we're just going to let it roll. Just mix it up a little bit because, you know, the meat in there is cooking, but there's still a lot of fat that needs to render out. Okay, so just leave it in there. And you can stir it up every now and then if you want. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in there and we'll be back. I'd imagine that's going to take an hour or 2 or 3. Just let it roll. Right. I forgot to mention that when I covered the brisket, I turned the grill up to 250 degrees. And since I've got a nice hot pellet grill, I just happen to have some jalapeños, some cream cheese, some bacon. So yeah, I'm going to throw some poppers on here, take advantage of the extra 250 degrees. And these poppers are dusted with Meat Church's Texas sugar. That stuff is really good, especially on poppers. If you haven't tried it, gotta give it a try. Good stuff. All right, looks like they all fit. Looks like this one better go that way. This jalapeno is actually out of my garden. Okay. All right, looks like we're good to go. Let those ride too. All right, it has been 6 hours total. My meat stick is saying it's 198. I thought I'd just kind of, oh yeah. That is, well, a little sticky right there. I'm gonna let it go a little longer. These poppers look like they're about done. Let those go a tiny bit more. Tallow. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, that is cooking. Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna dump the rest of this and fill up that jar. All right. Got to do the pouring with my right hand. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Got one jar. There's a little bit left in here. I'm going to get another jar. Anyway, got to make your tallow. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. And you'll see what I do with this. All right, it is time to get this brisket out and start letting it rest until it gets down to about 150-ish, so I can shred it. Okay. Also gonna get that tallow. This is the fat that made the tallow, and now it is all nice and crunchy. Perfect. Okay. Right, for the mashed potatoes, I'm just using a 4-ounce bag of Idahoan butter and herb. Got my water heating up, and we'll add that, and we'll have mashed potatoes here in an instant. While the water is heating up, I'm gonna get this brisket. Okay, let's see how it does. I only put one glove on. I probably should get another one. All right, this way I can hold it with one hand and shred it with the other. Try to get some of the fat out that we don't want to eat. Okay, so I got this all shredded up nice, so I'm mixing this in with the onion. I took a little handful out back here for a tortilla takeover. And I'll tell you what, I could eat this right now just with the onion and brisket. It has such a good flavor. Yeah, I took a bite. So I'm going to use some peas and carrots, just a great value. They are frozen. And we're going to mix this up. In this meal series, this is just another great way to use brisket. Okay, I've got my instant mashed potatoes, and I'm going to get these spread over the top. had to take my gloves off, get a spatula so I could spread the mashed potatoes. I'm going to make another packet, and we're going to layer that mashed potato on here pretty good. All right, got another pack going here. This was a pack of baby reds, just fine. It didn't have the butter and herb. Okay. Now we got meat and potato. That's a shepherd's pie right there. All right, let's get these out to the pellet grill. All right, so yeah, that's frozen peas and carrots. The bottom of this pan is cold, so we're going to put that in right there. We'll check it at about 30 and see how we're doing. Okay, I've been busy. I let this go 45 minutes. Let's give it a look. All right, looks pretty good. I'm sure it's nice and hot after 45 minutes. Sometimes, if you leave it in longer, you can get like a smoke color on your mashed potatoes. Anyway, I'm taking this off. We're going to let it cool for a few minutes, dig in, do a taste test, and talk about the whole thing. All right. Let me just see if I can get a little bit of this out of here so we can do a taste test. Brisket shepherd pie. I don't know if I went all the way to the bottom with that brisket. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at all that brisket. Got the peas and carrots in there, got some onions in there. Let's go take a taste of this. All right, so what do you think of that? 5 meals out of 5 different pieces of brisket. This experiment was just to show that you could buy a 15 or larger or smaller pound brisket. You can section it out, you can vacuum seal the pieces and freeze them, and just cook little bits of brisket as you want. They don't all have to be done on a smoker. You could do them in your oven, you could do them in a crock pot, you could probably even do them in your air fryer. So here we go. That is my brisket shepherd's pie. It's got the peas and carrots. Peas and carrots go together like meat and potato, right? So let me get a bite of that. Peas and carrots and brisket and potato. I'm telling you what, this, I already know it's going to be good. Oh. Just adding the flavor of brisket to something you'd normally make with a chuck roast just gives it so much more flavor. Man. And of course, don't forget the tallow. And then I threw in some poppers, so, I mean, if you insist, I'll take a bite of a popper. So good. Shepherd's pie made with a brisket. I'm telling you, give it a try. If you like shepherd's pie, give this a try. Yes, brisket, you know, you'll pay whatever, 100 plus to get depending how big of a brisket you get. Pound wise, it's cheaper than chuck. And then there's going to be the guys that say, oh, what about after you cut all the fat off, blah, blah, blah. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, when I made the tallow, I grind my fat because the fat has meat in it as well. And then we smoke it. So we have smoke flavored tallow. And you're left with all of this. And what I call this, I like to call this is brisket bacon bits. I mean, they're just little pieces. There is meat. There's, you know, the fried fat. It is so good. I'm going to sprinkle some on top of my shepherd's pie. Okay, just like adding some bacon bits to the top. It is so good. I did sprinkle just a little bit of salt on them, just to give them a little extra flavor. But I'll tell you what. Brisket, bacon bits, shepherd's pie. That is so good. There's my little bacon bits right there. Okay, I hope that you give this a try. Anyway, what I was saying about the brisket, you know, in the end, if you use the fat, you make your tallow, you make your brisket bacon bits, you won't be sad that you made the bacon bits of grinding, is if you have a meat grinder. If you don't, be sure to still make tallow. All right, well, if you haven't seen all the brisket videos that I did with the one, I have a playlist. Go through them all, find the one that you might want to make. They are all fantastic. I did the chopped barbecue beef brisket sandwich. I did the French dip sandwich. Fantastic. The shepherd's pie. I did the brisket chili Colorado, which is basically red chili beef, but use brisket instead, and you can make all kinds of stuff. Over on my tortilla takeover channel, I made the red chili brisket tamales. Oh, those were so good. Anyway, I hope that this has helped you decide to just go ahead and buy a brisket if you don't want to cook the whole thing at once, because you can make so many different meals with it if you don't cook it all the same. If you cook one brisket and you slice it up and you have leftovers, well, then you're limited really on what you can make. There's still tons of stuff you can make, but it limits you, like Mississippi brisket pot roast. I almost forgot that one. Oh, that one was fantastic too. So anyway, thanks for checking them out. If you've been along here for the whole series, I really appreciate that, and I know some of you do. Appreciate you guys more than you know. So anyway, get you a brisket, cut it up, make all kinds of meals. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and ring that bell so you see what else I'm coming up with.